Switch to sumo?
So, got to come clean with you guys. I'm thinking about doing a cycle. We live? We're live, right. What's up guys, welcome to the Q&A video. I am in London right now, I'm at Silvermere Strength and Fitness. Got that right. And I just wanted to first off start the video just saying a big thank you to Jason from A7. Guys, check out this package. There's 15 kilos, 33 pounds roughly of A7 giveaways. This is for the UK tour that I'm doing right now. That starts in exactly around 15 hours time. I'm doing my first seminar here. I'm very, very excited. It's a sold out tour, so I just want to say a big thank you. Looking forward to seeing everyone here, and we're going to kick off some of the Q&A questions in just a moment.
EK Hessel asks, are you planning to compete at all for the rest of the year, or are you going to have a decent off season?
Oh, it's a good question. So my plan right now is I've done 2 competitions. I've done the Arnold and the World Champs, so that was in end of June. So the next potential competition is going to be in December in Christchurch in New Zealand. That's the Oceania Champs, another international comp. But I just want to take the time right now to have a good off season. So that's a good solid 5 months of training that I've got, that I can have from sort of now until I need to really peak for the competition. So that's the next planned competition. I don't want to do anything sooner than that.
Will you ever diet down to the 74 class or bulk up to the 93?
Well, I can definitely guarantee that I'll never cut down to the 74. Fun fact, I actually used to lift in the 74 kilo class. 2008 was my first ever competition. I was around 77 kilos, sub-junior. I don't know how, maybe 16, something like that. I lifted in 2011 was the only year I lifted in the 74 kilo class. But it was a real struggle. At that time, I had no idea what I was doing with the weight cuts. But at this stage I just feel like I'm too heavy, I've got too much muscle, that if I was to cut down like that, it would be very detrimental to my number. I'd have a lower wilks, everything. Going up to 93 is definitely something I'm going to consider at some stage, but at this stage I feel like I can get my conditioning better. I haven't reached my goals yet that I want to get in the 83, so at first I just want to achieve those numbers and then move on to eventually lifting more weight in the 93 kilo class.
Switch to sumo?
A cycle maybe 10 to 12 weeks of sumo, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to start it off as a light accessory, get the hips moving better in that movement, so just keep it really light to start with, but it's something I'm looking into right now, but I'm definitely not unhappy with my conventional deadlift right now. I think it's been making great progress, so there's no point to exactly go away from it. But it's always fun to mix training up as well while I've got the chance to do so. I'm going to be travelling back to New Zealand to do nationals, so no, I will not be doing that. That's only in about 7 days time. I had to apply for an exemption because I live in Canada right now. Heading back to New Zealand in about 8 weeks or so. So wish you guys all the best if you guys are competing at the New Zealand Nationals. Which weight class do you see yourself competing in the future? Right now I still see the future in the 83 kilo class. Up until I can get around that 830 to 850 kilo total, and I think it's time to go up to the 93 kilo class just to really try and maximise just lifting as much weight as I can, so I'm really excited about that. And will you change your game plan on meet days to try and go 9 from 9 more often and build a total similar to John Hack? Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to try and incorporate, is just being more well, I guess a little bit more cautious with my numbers and planning on game day. I have gone 9 from 9, I went 9 from 9 in 2014, 9 from 9 at a meet in 2015. I just haven't been able to put one together this year, so we'll see what happens. But yes, that's definitely part of the plan. What was the biggest factor in not hitting your lifts at the Worlds? In practice you smoked these weights? I think there was a number of factors. I was under a high level of stress. I'm not blaming anything, but going into Worlds was a very stressful time for me. It's been a big routine change, like living in Canada. You know, just little things like not being able to go to the gym when I want to train. So I'm working for my own hours now, which is a bit different. I used to work at the bank, 9 to 5. I knew I was going to the gym straight after. But now it's sort of like I can do my own thing sort of when I want. And when I get that urge to go to the gym, I really just want to get up and go. but I've been relying on other people to get me to the gym because I'm not within walking distance, and you know, taxis are $20 each way, so financially that just wouldn't have worked. And you know, I guess I just didn't have that self-independence that I really like, so that made training super hard. And I think I'm stronger physically, but just mentally I'm not as strong as I used to be. So I think when I get back to New Zealand, I got a car again, I'm back in my home gym, I think you're going to see some really good training out of me, which I'm really excited about. Brett, will you ever go back to equipped? Not a chance, I'm not into equipped at all. Why did you not retake the second squat at Worlds? Well, we only went up 1%, we only went up 3 kilos, so I mean, in my opinion it's pretty much the same weight. It's going to be really close, and you know, even just thinking about it now, if it was 285 again, nothing would have changed. So what sort of adjustments will you make to your prep or your training methods after this meet prep? Well, basically I'm just going to look for more volume, more accessory work, and a better bar speed on the main lift, so not peak as heavy. I think I peaked with 275 for a 3x3 and a 285 for a 2x2, so you know, if I could potentially do that again, the bar speed needs to be better and the positioning through the back needs to be better, so that's what I'm planning to do. So what's next, BG? What are your short and long term goals? How do you move forward from the recent championships? Again, the goals are just to really get some of my potential in this weight class, so the 830 to 850 kilo mark I think is really what I'm aiming for, so I'm really excited about that. Just building a more of a solid foundation of training right now. I'm going to build some muscle, lean out a little bit more, so I can be as big as I can be in that weight class, and just work on getting my weight cut really dialed in. But I'm still excited, really motivated to train, and you know, always fighting for that next PB. How old were you when you started weight training? So I was 16 years old, so about 10 years ago now, around 10 years. The reason I got into lifting was because I broke my arm twice and I had to go to the gym for rehab. For the first year I only trained upper body. I trained arms, chest, and some shoulder work, and trained nothing else. Hey Brett, how often do you take physiotherapist sessions, and do you take them the week before and after the meet? So generally I used to do them every week when I was living in New Zealand. Ever since living in Canada, I haven't seen anyone, no massage, no physical therapist, nothing like that. I did have one session with a friend of mine, Nick Roberts. There was a video previously when he did come and see me, so I did really appreciate that. But I haven't been able to get that regular treatment, which has been I guess a bit disappointing, and it's made recovery a bit harder. What does it take to become a world champion? You know, to become a world champion, you've got to have the really strong mindset. It's not going to come down to the best program or anything like that, or the best genetics. You've just got to have the best mindset possible. You've got to believe that you are going to be the champion and nothing's going to hold you back. You're not going to let anyone get in your way. And if you don't have that, you're never going to be the best in the world. Any advice for people who plan on competing in the IPF? Yeah, my advice would be just lift drug free. You should be drug free for life. If you've taken steroids before, you should lift in another federation. You know, that's what supposedly the IPF is all about, so you should stick to those guidelines. And don't be scared, just go and do your meet. Even if it's your first meet, you're not that strong, because you're never going to be satisfied anyway. You're not going to wake up one day and say, oh, I squatted 200 yesterday, I'm now ready to do a comp. Because if you have the right mindset and you think you're never strong enough, then you're going to continuously think, oh no, I'll put another 20 kilos on and keep holding off that meet. So just go and get stuck in and have a good time, you're going to love it. So are you going to make off-season videos, or will it just be meet prep videos? Yeah, I'm definitely going to get some YouTube videos rolling more often. It's just because I have been away so much lately. After Worlds I was away for 3 weeks travelling on holiday. I was home for a week, and then I was back over in the UK for another 2 weeks basically. So it's just been really hard to get any sort of routine going. So, do you think you had more focus coming into Worlds compared to Arnold's? I guess life was going pretty fast before Worlds, moving to Canada, new friend, new home, new girlfriend. Do you think sometimes you have to take a step back from being a world-class athlete for enjoying life? I definitely think you've just got to find that right balance there, but if you're going to be the world champion, then lifting is always going to be your #1 priority, and there's just nothing you can do about that. If you're going to constantly think, you know, balance is key, and you want to go out and do all this other stuff that everyone else is doing, well, I mean, you're not going to be the world champion. You do need to make sacrifices. It does need to be on your mind 24/7, and you just need to constantly be thinking about, you know, getting better and better. And definitely making the move to Canada has been really, really hard. It's been the hardest year of training in my life as far as just getting to the gym and actually being able to get a workout in. There's days where I've actually missed workouts, or there was like weeks on end where I was paying $40 a day just to go to the gym because I had no right to get into the gym, and I just had to suck it up and get it done. But that does get stressful, and you start to question why you're doing this. I'm spending $200 a week on a taxi to get to the gym because I live in a place where there's no bus, there's no one else around to pick me up, or I need to go at this time because I've got stuff on in the afternoon whenever someone else can pick me up. Just again, man, it's just been so stressful. So I'm really excited to get back to New Zealand, and yeah. Will you use the ESPD belt from now on? So yeah, of course I will. I love the belt. I got it just before Worlds, but I feel when I did put it on, it did need some breaking in. So I've been wearing that the last few weeks in training, and really loving the belt. They've done a great job. ESPD have, so that's been awesome. So sort of similar question again, like so BG has been in a different training environment with different people around you in Canada affected your training anyway? Do you find yourself approaching training any different from when you lived in New Zealand? Has that changed your mentality coming into training at all? So that was from Terry Martin. So again, I might have touched on that in one of the other questions, but 100%, man. Like the gyms I grew up in are the gyms that I started day one. That's where I found powerlifting. That's where I've done and achieved everything. Out of Y-Weight Gym in Masterton, Powerhouse Gym in New Zealand, in Wellington, sorry. Both those gyms being in New Zealand. I love the environments of them. I know the people there. They know who I am. They know what makes me, get fired up. And just the environment, being around those sorts of people has been, coming up through the ranks has been so motivating. And just to come and have a big change of scenery, new people. There hasn't really been the best crowd at reps. There's definitely some good people there. Don't get me wrong, but the rest of the gym, apart from just the powerlifting people, there's no environment there. There's only maybe 3 of us that generally train together or do something like that. So what's the main focus to improve before next Worlds? Is definitely training consistency, positioning, and go 9 from 9, basically really get that confidence back. Do you think you need to grind a bit more in training and not always have perfect reps? If that's directed at me, no, I don't need to grind more. I'd rather have a nice, clean, good bar speed as opposed to start grinding things out and mentally think that I'm reaching my limits. So I'd rather keep bar speed. However, for others, then you're going to have to find that what works for you. If you're still coming up through the ranks, yeah, you're going to need to put in some work and start grinding out some reps at some stage. Okay. What now is obviously continue with training. I'm always motivated to be the best. I want to be the best, and I'm going to just train as hard as I can to get my world title back in 2017, sorry. So I'm sure you've seen some of the videos from current world champion. What do you think your chances are of reclaiming your title next year? I think I've got great chances of claiming it back. I'm going to put everything I've got into it. I'm going to be hopefully into some better training environments, and I'm motivated more than ever to reclaim that title. Sitting at the top's not a nice place to be. When you're coming into a meet, I'd rather be the underdog and come in and smash it. Why did you take so long to get back into training? Do you usually take that long? What benefits do you see from this? I've been lifting for 10 years now. I took a few weeks off to go and see the world. I love travelling. I had one training session while I was away. I generally do that after big meets. When you're training just the same mundane things. Powerlifting's not an exciting sport. It's not really exciting to be in the gym when you're sort of just going about the same sort of movements time and time again. That can get pretty boring after 10 years. So I need to just re-motivate myself mentally, take some time away from things, think about strategy, how I'm going to come back, how I plan to get stronger. And quite frankly, that's the benefit for me. It's just having that time off to think and be yourself. So people always think, I'm hardcore, I go back the next day and I'm so in love with it. It's well, that's completely up to you how you want to go about that. For me, but for me personally, I'll be burnt out 5 years ago if I was like that. Do you think anyone has the ability to become a world-class powerlifter? I think everyone has the ability to become world-class to get themselves to that level, but not everyone will have the ability to actually be a world champion. So Kevin Smith, why have you decided to go back programming for yourself? Just to get some enjoyment back into my training, find my own motivation, find what's working better for me. You know, nothing against JP, all this was always part of the plan, and we're potentially going to work again together for the next meet. So we're just going to play that by ear and sort of see what happens. So next competition, I'm unsure of that right now. So there is a competition in December 2016, which is in New Zealand. It's an international competition. However, I'm probably not going to do that. I might actually even hold off and just do a local or regional meet either around that time or in early 2017. You know, just to, you know, because I am travelling back to New Zealand towards the end of the year. So we're just going to see what happens, man. I want to get excited for a competition again. It doesn't necessarily have to be to go and break world records, but it's to be around some good people again, and some of my roots. You know, the people I grew up lifting with. I'd really love to get back into Powerhouse Gym and do a competition. That's where I did my first competition in 2008, so I think it'd be really cool if they were doing the regional meet there. Do that early next year before 2017 Worlds. Alright guys, that's the Q&A, it's done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. You know where I'm at right now. I'm looking forward to making some more YouTube videos. If you guys have any more questions, just chuck them in the comment section below. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and we'll see you in that next video. How many times did I say video then? Share McKenna.